Welcome back to the Year in Rock. One of the biggest stories of 1991, even for music people, originated right here in the White House. It was a response to the Iraqi invasion of the oil-rich Persian Gulf state of Kuwait, which took place in August of 1990. The United States and its allies quickly deployed troops and armaments to the Gulf, and by January of this year, with Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein still refusing to budge, it was said that war was inevitable, and the countdown began.
Let's face it, we're greedy. We want their oil.
Some may ask, why act now?
There was no reasoning with a man like Hussein.
Kuwait was an oil well that they turned into a country.
Why not wait?
How are we supposed to react to what Saddam Hussein has done?
We cannot let it happen.
The world could wait no longer.
U.S. forces based in Saudi Arabia have launched an attack on the nation of Iraq. We cannot even guess at the consequences of this action, but they are likely to be grave.
1991 got underway with the largest military offensive this country has mounted since Vietnam. It was a short and perhaps therefore popular war, requiring just 42 days for Allied forces to bomb the invaders out of Kuwait and back into their native Iraq. This victory turned not on troops, but on cutting-edge technology. And the real hero of the Gulf War might be said to have been not a soldier, but a missile, the uncannily precise Patriot. There were surreal touches, too, such as the cartoon kid who became a top star on military radio.
Everybody back and forth, side to side.
And the 60s anti-war anthem that was dusted off by the minority of protesters and quickly appropriated by the pro-war majority. And as always, war offered opportunities for eagle-eyed entrepreneurs to turn a quick profit peddling such commodities as Desert Storm board games and Saddam Hussein toilet paper. Naturally, the favored color scheme for this season of conflict was red, white, and blue. The Gulf War was heavily censored, raising anew the ancient conflict between the citizens' right to know what their government is doing in their name and the government's disinclination to tell them.
We don't want to talk too much about it.
The Pentagon dribbled what information it saw fit to release into tightly managed press pools with the usual lashings of can-do enthusiasm.
Is that why there's little opposition?
We're going to go around, over, through, on top, underneath, and any other way.
If you thought that you could understand this war in the Middle East just by watching television alone, not reading anything, you're a fool.
The war also highlighted, once again, America's dependence on foreign oil. And in the end, it brought with it a further depletion of oil reserves and environmental devastation on an awesome scale.
We have 5% of the world's population. We consume 25% of the fossil fuels. If they're not spilling on our shores, if they're not being fought over in some distant part of the world, we're burning them and putting them into the atmosphere and poisoning ourselves.
When the smoke began to clear a bit, Saddam Hussein was still in power and even claiming victory. The United States threw itself a victory party anyway, but the sentiments on display, even among soldiers, were not entirely unmixed.
Glad to be home, and I'm not going to another war.
With the ground war in the Gulf concluded in 4 days flat, life returned more or less to normal. In the pop business, countless young acts continued to struggle for a break, and those that had already achieved that plateau continued to push for a major breakthrough that would lift them up to such big-time venues as Madison Square Garden here in New York City, and maybe boost them all the way up to the top of the charts. Here's how the year went for these people.
Well, I think that the cream always rises. When you're good, you're good.
Listen, man, I want to have a hit like Nelson. I don't care what I have to do. Look, I'm willing to play ball now.
Hey, we'll take a top 10 single when it wants to come our way.
It's what I've always dreamed about doing, so I'm very fortunate to be here.
He's trying to build a career, trying to make a living.
Things are just kind of kicking into gear.
Just been having a blast, man. You know, this is it.
Woo! I'm a comet. Catch my tail.
Our success has given us a little breathing air. We do things now definitely at the Black Crowes pace. You know, we call our own shots. It's, you know, you don't have someone going, no, let me tell you kid something. Well, let me tell you, this kid, you know, let me tell you something for once.
We're going to try to find at least maybe 1 or 1.5 people that know who we are.
But you've heard the song before? No? We had a first record out in '89, and we were getting a little discouraged whether or not, you know, we were going to break into the mainstream. But, you know, we just kept at it.
Isn't it those two blonde guys?
Prefab Sprout.
Two blonde guys. Nelson? Close. Oh, two guys.
I mean, I played in bars for years and years, and I'll probably play in bars for years to come. And I like music so much, I'll do it anyway. But if somebody pays you money, there's no complaint about that. It's not that it's money I'm interested in. It just really, money's not, it's not a big part of it, folks.
I've spent a little on clothes, I won't lie. It's sort of like a dream when I'm doing it. I always expect I'm going to wake up and be back on my mattress, sleeping on the floor.
Yeah, when they told us it was #1, it was like, had an extra beer, you know. The cool thing for me was when we hung out there for 4 weeks. You know, it said something that, hey, we're not just like flash in the pan.
Here at this point, 8 years, you know, into our career, you know, we're still going up. And it's not coming the other way around where we peaked on the first project and have been free-falling, clamoring to hang on to a shred of what we accomplished before. It's really nice.
Music is in waves, life is in waves. At some parts of your life, you're on a high. At some parts of your life, you're on a low. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. Once you're a star, there's nowhere to go. I just keep striving to be a star. So don't call it a comeback. I'm maintaining and elevating.
Breakthrough acts of 1991. We'll be back with a look at this year's big pop, rock, rap, jazz, thrash, metal fusion, and the hottest new acts of the year, and of course, Madonna. First, though, here are some of the year's most notable quotes. Do stay tuned.
Do I ever sound like this?
In order to fight the power, you must master the power.
I think that playing music together is the closest the 4 guys can get without actually having sex together.
The best part about sex is the squirrel.
Truth or dare, truth or dare. You want to us?
What's the difference between like and love?
I don't know.
A spit or a swallow.
What's it like doing a kissing scene?
It's like being intimate in the zoo.
Please get your thinking caps on and put that cap on down there, and then everything will be all right.
Videos are like girlfriends to me. I am continually astonished at the choices other people make.
Do I look like the devil, though?
We're not interested in, you know, getting a couple of, you know, young suburban girls out there who like Search's hair and they want to see me in Teen Beat.
Did you hurt your ear?